So let's go ahead and go for a ride. This is a 360 video, so if the camera angle looks weird, then just move your phone around or swipe the screen or click on the video and slide on it, and you can look around the whole time. Unfortunately, as I move the vehicle, the position will turn. Like right now, you don't have to move your phone around or whatever. You can just simply swipe on the screen and reposition it to make it a little bit easier. But anyways, I wanted to talk about a few things, update what's going on. Recently I've been doing some sample drone footage, and I did one at East Coast Honda that looks phenomenal. It's hard to imagine that. I think pretty much the best camera you can get for a drone is what I got. So that looks great. I'm going to put a link in the description. Please check it out. Let me know what you think, and please watch it with a high quality screen, 4K, and large screen preferably would be ideal, because it looks stunning on my like a 55-inch screen or whatever. But anyways, that's one thing I've been doing, just trying to get some demo reels for drone footage so I can have that as a side hustle basically. YouTube has been very inconsistent as far as a lot of variables, so I need to have some additional income in different areas. So that's one of the things I'm really interested in, and I think there's a need for it. Also, I'm able to get FAA authorization now through quickly. So before you'd have to wait 90 days, now you can get it quickly, so that's good. So I'm doing the drone thing. I'm also have been doing last couple months to subsidize my income is do product reviews. Now the product reviews, the problem with that is it doesn't get very much attention, and so my channel has been suffering because of it. So I'm going to lay off the product reviews basically as much as possible. Even if it's something, there's like this phone case. I did that 2 years ago or whatever, but it's a product that I actually use. The RAM mounts, I did that years ago. I still use those. Some of this stuff is, one of the things I don't use is the wheel protection. I took that back off. I don't really, and once I got it on there and looked at it and everything, it's not something I really want to use. But some people, I think it's more for look. So if you want that style, you want red or yellow or something on your wheel, and have that type of vehicle, I think it's mostly for that than protecting your wheel. But anyways, I took that off the vehicle, and it doesn't match this car or anything like that. So it's not easy to take off. So apparently they should stay on there pretty good. So those are some stuff. As far as my videos go, what's happening is, I'll get some views on a video, but then I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube, because it's like my views are dropping, everything's dropping, so I'm not sure what's going on. And it could be possibly have something to do with having the product reviews on there. I don't know, but I'm trying to put out a lot of quality content, and hopefully the whole point is to help other people. And I notice that there's a lot of 19s coming out, and those are getting some attention, but nothing like that you have in the past. So I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe I think possibly is that people are spending a lot of time outside since the summertime, so they're not actually spending a lot of time shopping or whatever for cars. And once school starts and once everybody's off for their vacation or whatever the case may be, maybe then they'll start shopping for cars or whatever, and I'll get some more views, because I'm seeing a drastic decline in views here the last couple months, and it was fine before that, so I'm not sure. So you get to see my dirty car here. The floor mats are working out great. So far, so good. They're easier to clean than my other ones, so that's a huge plus. And somebody in the comments asked where I got started, and I hadn't really talked about this much in a long time. And how I actually got started, I was working at a car dealership. I needed a job really bad. I was unemployed for a long time, and I needed a job, and never really considered a car dealership until I saw I really wanted to do online type stuff, like what I'm doing now, videos and online content in general, pictures, stuff like that. So was looking for a job, and I was very desperate, and I happened to see an ad in the newspaper regarding, producing online type stuff. So I responded to it, and it was a car dealership. Well, I worked there for about a week. It didn't really work out, but it opened my eyes to the potential there and how much the auto industry is lacking in the online content stuff. So what I did was I was like, just because it didn't work out there, I can't really give up, because it's something I've actually fell kind of like in love with car industry. I was like, wow, I was really infatuated with it, and I wanted to be a part of it. So a friend of mine suggested Van Underwood in Whiteville, Chrysler dealership, and so I went in there, and I told him what I wanted to do. And Van's one of those type of people that he didn't know who I was, but he allowed me to sit in his office, and I talked to the owner of the business, and he sat in there, and we talked for probably 30-45 minutes. And if anybody knows who Van is, he is very busy, always busy, but he carved out some time to talk to me because that's the kind of person he is. He's he's just a good guy. But anyways, sat in there, talked to him, and I explained what I want to do, and he's like, well, we already have somebody that does internet, right? And I was like, maybe my previous experience with the other dealership maybe didn't work out because of my ignorance in the industry, right? So, and that's probably what happened, looking back. So I was like, what? I'll just allow myself to be taken into the industry wherever I'm needed and see how it works out. So, salesperson, okay? And I was like, I didn't want to be a salesperson. I always had that negative connotation, which is horrible. I hate it. Now, looking back, I'm like, wow, that is such a wrong perception. But anyways, I became a salesperson, and I started helping customers, and I was like, I'm going to not focus on how many cars I can sell. And I know this is, opposite of what you're really supposed to do, but focus on actually helping customers and not really be too concerned with the commission or whatever. Just focus on their needs, and that's what I've always tried to do anyway. But so one of the things I noticed is people would call, and then they would ask a bunch of questions, especially about used cars. So like, hey, what's the condition? Has they smoked in it? What does the engine sound like? They wanted to know a lot of stuff about the cars, and I was like, well, let me go out there, and I'll have the cell phone in my hand, and I'll try to tell them, right? And so then somebody else calls about the same car, and I'm like doing through the whole thing. I'm like, what? I can just make a video going through all this stuff, and anybody that contacts, whether through email or phone or whatever, I can send them that video, and I can service while I'm not spending so much time on the phone. I can be taking more calls and helping more people, but I'm still delivering the information to more people. So I started doing kind of walk around type things on the condition of used cars and pointing out some of the features. But I was so ignorant in the auto industry, I didn't even know about the features. I just knew about the condition. Like, if I saw a scratch, I can point out a scratch, that kind of stuff. Or I can, try to explain my experience, basically. So that's how I got started. And then once I started putting more and more content online, I started putting public on YouTube, so that way anybody can actually watch it. Other people were watching it too and getting some value out of it. And then they were pointing out, like, hey, what about this? What about that? And asking a bunch of questions. And as I was being asked those questions, I had to learn more about the vehicles, had to learn more about the features and everything. And I started including here and there as much as I could, given my limitations. But I was able to gain the skills, gain the knowledge, and be more concise, hopefully, with my speech, which, if you think it's not concise now, then you should have seen it before. It was worse. But anyways, so I kind of developed my videos through trial and error and through the feedback I was getting through comments and also views and things like that. So it's always been a focus on what is the value to the viewer, and that's really what my focus is. Whether I deliver on that is another story, but that's the real focus, the value to the viewer. Now you notice I noticed like this particular video right here, this is about me, so it probably won't get that many views because people are not interested in me, because I have, me personally, have low value as far as to other people, unless I'm, other than through the information. So the video, the value is in the information, not me. So that's what I try to focus on. It's not about me, So me standing in front of the camera is and getting between the camera and the car and stuff like that, like I see in other videos, I just like, that's not, maybe it works for some people, unless I was an entertainer. I see some car channels, the value isn't necessarily the information, it's the entertainment. I'm not very entertaining, unfortunately, so I try to be, but so a lot of times it just doesn't work out. It just doesn't really work out. So anyways, I leave the entertainment to this guy over here in the passenger seat. But anyways, I try to focus on the information and the value to the actual car shopper, and I've developed I would take notes and study as I'm helping customers in real life, and also virtually through email or through the comments or whatever. But when you're helping hundreds and hundreds of people in person, online, and actually thousands actually online, but more so in person, you get real-time feedback with what they're interested in, what they're looking for, what you're missing in your delivery of your information, and just the overall experience. So you get some real-time feedback. If it's anything, even if you get their facial expressions, like if you start talking about something and they're just like, whatever, that's feedback. So as I developed my videos, as I developed my delivery to the online content, it was basically, a lot of it's shaped by the real world people, the people that are actually putting the money down. Okay, so part of the online stuff, the feedback I get from online are people that are unknown age. They're most likely not even interested in that vehicle as far as buying it, or they're not even capable of buying a vehicle, that kind of thing. So, if somebody has a particular criticism of the vehicle or the delivery of it or whatever, I have to look at it like, okay, is this person actually interested in buying a $75,000 vehicle, or is this guy just trying to justify why he can't buy a $75,000 vehicle? So those are the things. But when you actually have somebody that walks in the door and they are going to buy a $75,000 vehicle, those are the opinions, those are the things that person focuses on, is what I take note of, because they're the ones actually putting the money down. Those that actually invested in something. So whatever information they're focused on must be of great value, and that's where I focus my videos on. So that's where I started my channel, that's where I focus, and that's the direction I want to maintain. If I can add something in there in the videos that would be useful as for more car shoppers or whatever, that would be fantastic. I'm always looking for adding or tweaking my videos to make them better. So of course you can always leave that in the comments. So that's the origins and direction of my channel. So as of right now, I'm doing the drone stuff, product reviews, kind of winding down on that, trying to do as many 19s as possible. I'm also doing giveaways. So High Road sent me a bunch of these products that they have, and I picked them out. So I was like, they got a lot of stuff, and I was like, these are things that I think it's useful. I actually have mine on the back of the seat there, but these are really useful products. I'm like, people need to know about these because they're very, very reasonably priced, and I think that my viewers, just people online, will like to experience this. So I have some giveaways that I'm doing, and I have several more to go, and I'll be doing those in the near future. And they do cost a lot to ship them out and stuff. Like I just shipped one. Actually, shipping was cost more than the actual item. So I can't do it forever, but that's good to have. I think that's good to get the word out, and also have something to give away to subscribers. And so I really appreciate you watching this video. I really appreciate you being a subscriber to my channel. I'm assuming you're a subscriber since you're watching this particular video. But and it's very interesting to me that that there's people subscribed to my channel and they watch in succession my videos. Some really dedicated to information about vehicles, and I really appreciate that. And it's really neat because looking at the way I perceived a car, like when I was younger, when I first got I got my license really young. I was like driving when I was 13. Got like a permit when I was 13. I had a full license at 14. That's the way it was in South Carolina back then. And I was driving around, and what I saw a vehicle was freedom. Okay, and I had a little taste of freedom because I lived in northern Maine and I had a snowmobile. In the wintertime, I was like in 6th grade and I was driving around like I had my driver's license because I had a snowmobile. And there's trails everywhere in northern Maine, snow trails. So I could drive across the lake, I could drive wherever I wanted. As soon as I got off school, I was going all the time. So it was kind of like I got that taste of freedom, and then we moved away from there. It wasn't that long before I got my license, and I was going again. So that freedom of getting out and being mobile and doing whatever you want when you want to do it, that freedom is very important to me, and I know it's very important to a lot of people. So that's what a vehicle represents. So another thing I learned, I have really picky preferences. So that's why I try not to put my preferences in there. And I don't really technically make reviews because I'm not technically evaluating it based on my preferences, and that's what a review is, like a movie review. They're like, hey, this movie sucks or whatever, right? Based on their preferences or their perception or whatever. But I can't evaluate vehicles like that because there's like 2 vehicles on the market that I would like, and everything else it just doesn't match my preferences. For one thing, I like two-door cars, right? So there's not a lot on the market to begin with. But I have to look at it based on my experience with helping customers. I have to look at it from the point of view of the people that I've helped. So like say somebody's shopping for a minivan. I'm not right now shopping for a minivan. I don't really have a need for one, but I can see how happy people are that buy them and they need them. They have a family. They need that extra room, and they're able to get in and out easy. They're able to put all their stuff in there, strollers or whatever, and car seats and all that stuff. So when I see the joy that people have in finally getting out of some sedan with all their kids and car seats and all this stuff and getting into a minivan, and how much joy that brings them, and then following up with them after they have it for a time, and how much that it actually literally can change their life for the better and make their life less stressful and more enjoyable. That's the things that I'm focused on when I do a minivan video. It has nothing to do with me, really. I just look at it try to be empathetic and look at it through their perception and evaluate it. Now, everybody has different preferences. That's why there's different colors on cars. That's why there's different vehicles and brands, and there's everybody has their preferences. And I think what it is, a lot of people I see in the comments, especially people that are not subscribers or whatever, but I see a lot where people don't understand the difference between subjective preference and objective. So if you have a preference and then you state that preference as if it's an objective truth, I see that happening all the time. It's like, and I've made a video before about subjective versus objective, and it's like people don't have that distinction, So instead of saying, this is just a real simple, stupid example, just so you can get what I'm talking about. If somebody says, I don't like that color, that's a preference. That's completely valid and makes sense. But if you say that color is ugly, that's saying that that color, independent from your preference, is objectively ugly. Like it's separate from you. Everybody that sees it should automatically see the same as you and perceive it as ugly, right? And that's like I mentioned, just a stupid example, but that's where a lot of people get swayed when car reviewers, especially, but somewhat in the comments, and also, like, say if there's a car reviewer that says, hey, I saw this video, it was on a Camaro, maybe you can find it and send a link to me. There's a guy with a Camaro, he's doing a video of a Camaro. He literally was showing the Camaro. It was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 minute video or whatever, and he just points at the trunk and says, it has a trunk, we'll just leave it at that, as if, because that trunk isn't big enough for his preferences, that you don't even need to see it. Like, that was it. That's part of the video. That part of the video was skipped over because he just thought that the trunk was not good or something. I don't know. I did a video of the exact same vehicle, and I thought the trunk was awesome. I mean, I had all kinds of shots of the trunk because for the size of the vehicle and the purpose of the vehicle, I thought it was pretty dang good. It was easy to get to and had a pretty good amount of space. But anyway, it's a Camaro, go look at the trunk of a Corvette. But anyways, but that's the kind of thing. But then you see somebody do that, and then it's contagious, because then you have these people that see that video and then they go to other videos and adopt that same preference of the original viewer, the original car video guy, reviewer or whatever. So they don't evaluate it based on their own. They just adopt somebody else's preferences. I'm not sure how old they are or whatever, but then they repeat that all over the place. And then when somebody comes along that's been out, hasn't shopped for a car in years, and then they're just kind of out of the loop as far as cars, and then all of a sudden they need a car or want a car or whatever, and then they start shopping, and they see all these comments and all these reviewers saying something that's a preference that kind of got started just not really in a valid way. Maybe one person's preference, and then it kind of blew up and became everybody. Everybody just kind of adopted that because they heard it. They just repeat what they hear, and it may sway them in some way because they're like, hey, what's going on here? That kind of poisons the well or whatever. It's kind of like this. I've used this example a million times before. If you watch a movie and you enjoy it and you love it, you love that movie, you watch it twice in the movie theaters, you just really like it, or multiple times, then you go and read the reviews on that video or that movie, and there people are trashing it. This is a horrible movie, and this and that and this and that, and you're like, that's not even close to the perception I had with that particular movie. I really enjoyed it. But if you were to read the reviews first and read everybody trashing it, then you probably would even watch the movie and therefore not even get to a chance to enjoy it. So that's what I'm saying. When somebody's shopping for cars and they get a lot of negative, especially negative, they get a lot of negative perception, especially if it's not really valid, then it could sway them away from something that they it would benefit them, type thing. So anyway, so my focus in my videos is to try to avoid that kind of thing, and then that way I'm not swaying anybody, because that's not really what I want to do, is sway people. I want to show the features, show the benefits of each feature, and allow the people to kind of make up their own minds, because it's their particular preferences they're the ones putting the money down. They're the ones that's going to have to use it. So I don't want to sway them, that kind of thing. But anyways, here I am. Just got here at East Coast Honda. Do some videos here, hopefully, if they have the vehicle ready. But just thought I'd do a video of me just talking about different things going on with my channel, with me personally, my perceptions, and have a video about just me and you, I guess, riding around. You could look around and see where I'm at and see what kind of roads I drive on, see how dirty my vehicle is, and see how I get to one of the dealerships here. So don't forget, if you can, I'm going to put a link in the description. I did it right here at this dealership. It was a drone video, just kind of like sample shots. It's not anything commercial or anything, but I had fun making it. But the drone that I have, huge investment, but it looks fantastic. I haven't seen any other car drone videos that are this level of quality. Unbelievable, blew me away. So just check it out. Let me know what you think in that for that particular video. It's like 57 minutes seconds long. It's not even 1 minute. So hopefully you'll take the time to check it out and give me some feedback on that. Also, not only just the quality, just give me some feedback on the shots that would look cool in a commercial or something like that, or just in general of drone footage of a dealership, because I'm trying to experiment. I'm just kind of flying around and seeing what different things look good, and seeing what doesn't, So if there's anything that you think would look good, and I can give it a try and maybe implement those. But so feedback on the drone video would be awesome. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.